So I came across a Reddit post where this guy thought it would be a good idea to ask out one of his coworkers, and of course, that went sideways and didn't work out how he was hoping. So in today's video, I just wanted to take a look at his Reddit post with you guys and just kind of go over why it's never a good idea to ask out a coworker. So in his post, he starts out by saying, "I'm a male, 21, recently asked a coworker, 22, out for a coffee date." So right there, let me stop right there. So yeah, from my experience, you never want to ask out or date anybody from your work, right? Just because the likelihood of them turning you down or something going sideways when you're dating them is pretty high, and you work with that person. So if something goes sideways, you have to see them after that, and you have to interact with them, and you have to deal with them at work, right? So in my opinion, it's never good. The old saying is, it's kind of crude, but it's true. Don't shit where you eat, right? Don't you earn your living at your work. That's a place you have to be at, right? Don't date there, right? Don't make a potentially complicated, uncomfortable situation at your workplace, right? So he says, I asked her out for a coffee date, and he goes on to say, unaware that she was already in a relationship. She was flattered and was appreciative of the gesture, saying that she enjoys our conversations and interactions and would like to remain friends. So, of course, so it sounded like she was, flirting with him, maybe talking with him, just very friendly with him. And she, it turns out to be in a relationship, right? So he was picking up signs that she was interested in more than just being coworkers. And of course, I don't know if she was putting out the wrong signals, or, maybe showing being too friendly, or if it was just normally friendliness at work. Whatever the situation was, he didn't catch the right vibe, and he didn't realize that she was in a relationship, right? So he goes on to say this was pretty unexpected, as she was hadn't mentioned anything about being in a relationship before, but still showed signs of being interested in me. Yeah, so it's hard to tell, without being there in the situation. As far as her not mentioning anything about being in a relationship, that's normal, right? Some people are kind of private. They want to keep their private life separated from their work life. So that's not that big of a deal. But the fact that she was showing signs of being interested in you, that's messed up. I mean, I wasn't there. I didn't see it, so I don't know exactly what signs she was showing. Maybe you thought she was being more friendly than what she actually was. But either way, she's not interested in dating you, or she's already in a relationship, right? So, and that goes back to say, right, don't ever date a coworker, right? Because you don't know their situation. Now you asked her out, and she's already in another relationship. She turned you down. How's that not going to be awkward, right? That's going to be very, I wouldn't say it's going to be super uncomfortable, but it's going to be a little awkward, right? So let's see what else he has to say here. So maybe she's just an outgoing personality, and I was just overthinking. Yeah, probably, right? She might just be a very outgoing, friendly person, and you're just overthinking it, right? Cute girl at work, you think you guys are hitting it off, but she's just being friendly. Honestly, not too sure. Just wondering how to navigate things moving forward to avoid any awkwardness at work when I see her next, as I really enjoy being around her and look forward to going to work whenever she's around. All right, so yeah, exactly, right? How do I navigate things moving forward to avoid any kind of awkwardness at work? That's the key thing right there, right? Like, so you took it to that level. You thought she was interested, and you asked her out, and now she turned you down because she's already in a relationship. So things could potentially be awkward, right? And it's going to be tricky to navigate that. My best advice to you or any guy in this situation is, just pretend like it never happened, right? Just next time you see her, just have the normal conversation that you would have with her otherwise, right? Just pretend like it never happened, and just continue chatting her up and just being friendly with her, right? Just because she is in another relationship doesn't mean that you can't be friendly with her moving forward and have a good working relationship with her. But one thing is, don't hold out any hope. I know you say you enjoy being around her, look forward to going to work when she's there. So you got to get them out of your mind that there's a potential of her, wanting to date you or be with you, right? She's in another relationship, right? Don't be a homewrecker, so don't be stuck on the thought that she might be open to dating you down the future. You got to get that out of your head. If that comes up, great. If not, just continue being cool and cordial to her. So he goes on to say, I'm not going to lie. It's painful knowing she doesn't have the same feelings for me that I do, but I don't think it's right to force feelings that aren't there organically. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Like, I mean, you're saying it's painful knowing she doesn't have the same feelings for you, but you got to kind of like take a step back here, dude. Like, she's just a coworker. You guys are just friendly with each other. I don't know. You guys might have some pretty good conversations and get along pretty good, but it shouldn't be painful knowing that she doesn't have the same feelings. I mean, you got to be real with yourself here, guy. Like, you're just coworkers that get along pretty good, right? You're the one that developed feelings and they're not there, so let it go. I know it sucks and it probably hurts, but I mean, it is what it is. It says, I don't think feelings. Yeah, you don't want to force anything. Yeah, don't make things more awkward than they are already, right? Just like I said, just go in there and pretend like it never happened. Just chat her up like normal. He goes on to say, his question is, any suggestions of what to do to get over her? Okay, all right, let me stop it right there. There's nothing to get over, dude. Like, you had this thing in your head that you made it into something that it wasn't before you knew that she was in a relationship. There's nothing to get over. Like, you thought you liked her. You guys have a good conversation. She's a coworker. You found out she has a boyfriend or she's in a relationship. That's it. Nothing to get over, dude. Just let it go. Here to handle things move. Okay. What to do to get over her and how to handle things moving forward. Should I continue our relationship as friends or let that ship sail? So yeah, I mean, so you don't gotta let the ship sail. Just continue your relationship as friends, right? Like, there's no reason to make things awkward or to avoid her or not treat her the same, right? Hey, she's in a relationship, no worries. Just continue being her friend. You enjoy the conversations you have with her. Just keep on doing that, right? And like I said, you got to get it out of your mind that you're ever going to date this girl. Just approach it as a friendship, as a coworker, right? And you never know. If you continue to carry yourself the same way, and you're cool with her, maybe she'll get out of that relationship one day, or maybe she'll become single, and you might be at the top of the list to date her. But like I said in the beginning, you want to be very careful dating a coworker, right? Because it's just, from my experience, it's not a good look. It's just more likely than not, it's not. Things are going to go sideways, and you can end the relationship, but you might still have to see that person at work. And you don't ever want to make your work situation more complicated than it needs to be by dating somebody there. So, all right, guys, that's all I got on that one. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.